A caterpillar doesn't explain to the world why it's hidden away. It simply knows the cocoon is sacred. In the same way, your becoming deserves protection. Today, we'll explore the art of discernment and the power of healthy masking, not as a way to hide yourself, but a way to guard your transformation until it's strong enough to emerge. If you've ever felt resistance, doubt, or lack of support, this reading is your reminder. Your cocoon, it's not a prison, it is a sanctuary. Welcome to Maiden Mother Crone Tarot, where we hold sacred space for divine divergence, also known as ADHD. My name is Kayla, and I'm so glad you're here. Today is day 29 of the 0303 series, where I'm showing up for 30 days, bringing messages of support, love, and guidance for women with ADHD. Messages that show us that we are perfect as we are, right? We don't need to be changed to be worthy. We don't need to be changed to fit into society. We don't need to change ourselves as we've been taught to do our entire lives so we can survive. That we're stepping out of survival and we're transforming into thriving, right? Stepping into the fullness of who we are, stepping into the best, highest versions of ourselves. But also acknowledging there's nothing wrong with where we are now, with who we are now. That acceptance is the fertile breeding ground for transformation. Because we can see with clarity who we've been, why we've been that person. And we can see with compassion the steps needed to take so that we can become the highest expression of our soul. Today's tarot topic is how to guard your transformation with discernment. But before we get into that, I would like to invite you to join me in breathwork. We'll do 3 rounds of this simple box breathing exercise where we'll breathe in through the nose for 4, hold for 4, and breathe out through the nose for 4, and then hold for 4. I'm sorry, breathe out through the mouth for 4 and hold for 4. In through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll do 3 rounds of this breath work. I do this in my lives. 1, to ground myself. 2, to be an example of you grounding into this energy, tapping into your body, tapping into your senses, tapping into your intuition, slowing down, stepping away from the hustle and the bustle of our lives, of the responsibilities that we have to carry, of everything that distracts us, that keeps us stuck in a loop of not showing up for ourselves. Breath work, so simple, yet so meaningful. When you choose yourself, when you choose to slow down and breathe and explore how your body feels. Breathe and explore what it's trying to tell you. Then every day we do that, we show up as a better version of ourselves. So please join me in this simple breathing exercise. We'll do 3 rounds. Are you ready? Let's begin. Thank you so much for participating in that with me. Throughout the reading, I encourage you to continue to soften, to slow down, to settle into this space because you belong here, because you're safe here, because your soul is seen, heard, and expressed here in this channel. Before we begin, I wanted to talk about some of the energies that I was experiencing in the work I was doing before going live. I've mentioned this in a few of my lives. I have been working on a blockage in my throat chakra. So there has been some coughing, some blockages there, and it may pop up during the reading. So I do have my warm cup of tea here with some honey to help soothe it as I work on teaching my body it's safe to speak. It's safe to use my voice in all different forms. But when I was working with the energies and just settling on this topic for today, how to guard your transformation with discernment, there's so much um, advice in the world about us becoming better and always improving and always changing, right? And maybe this transformation isn't even about ourselves. Maybe it's some type of job transformation, right? Maybe you're pursuing something for yourself for the maybe it's not the first time and you're afraid people will be like, "Oh, you're doing something else again?" Maybe it's an addiction, right? Maybe there's something that you've been addicted to that you're trying to quit and the people in your life don't believe in you anymore. They might use the words to say they believe in you, that they think you can do it, but it's just empty words. There's nothing behind it. You can feel it. So, however, this energy translates for you. When I was working with the cards, I was working with the mother and the maiden and the crone, and I was clearing the energy and settling in tonight's energy or today's energy. It was very clear to me that there is a sacred mothering that needs to happen in this cocoon, a sacred, excuse me, self compassion, self love, where we are being gentle with ourselves, right? And so, this form of healthy masking, right, where we use disguise, where we go into our cocoon and we focus on the work required. We focus on the day to day task where we show up for ourselves and do the 1% improvement that causes that massive change at the end of a year. When we're doing these things, there was this overwhelming sense of gentleness and mothering that came through from the maiden. And then when I was working with it's interesting, it was the opposite, right? When I was working with the maiden, that's what came through. And when I was working with the mother, there was this idea of it's time, it's time, it's time, like not urgency, but like a proud mom. It's like, you can do it. I know you can do it. I see it. I feel it. Like that's what was coming through. And I'm getting goosebumps now. I don't know if you can see them. And then when I switched over to the crone, there was a stillness, a silence, a presence and observation that came in. And it was literal observation. There was no emotion behind it, just observation. So that's really interesting. I'm trying to remember that throughout the reading as we focus on how we can guard our transformation with discernment, how we can go into our cocoons and know that it's a sanctuary. It is not a prison. And understand that any type of healthy masking we do to protect ourselves until we are able to stand in the fullness of our becoming, until we are strong enough where we don't have to. And to me, when you're strong enough, that means you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to have an explanation. You don't have to have a justification. When your energy changes enough that you can stand in the truth of your becoming, stand in the truth of what you're creating, who you're becoming, whatever it is that you're doing here, this life change. When you can stand in the truth of that, and if someone comes at you and says, "Oh, you're doing that again," you can say, "Yeah, I am." But there'll be no connection to it, right? It's the idea of when someone approaches you confrontationally, just agreeing with them, not because you don't want to fight with them, but because you don't have the need. It's not there. You're so secure in yourself that it doesn't matter what they think. Who cares what they think? Not me, not you, right? That's the energy we are trying to get into. When our becoming is so solid, when we have fully bloomed, when the cocoon has fully cracked open, we've spread our wings, the energy there is just the observer, right? The grown, the observer. Just, yes, simple fact. No need to fight, no need to argue. Okay. So, excuse me. I'm going to pull 2 oracle cards first. These are not dedicated to the archetypes. I like to just use these. My daughter actually recommended I use this first deck. It is my favorite oracle deck as well, the Spirit Junkie oracle deck by Gabrielle Bernstein. And it does fit tremendously well with this discernment. When I was working with this deck before the live, the idea of I carry peace with me everywhere came out. That's the card that popped out. So how can we, and to me, I immediately translated that to the cocoon, right? The cocoon of our becoming, the truth we carry within, that doesn't matter what's happening around us, we will always be safe in that peace. And that peace ripples outward. When you can't be swayed, when you can't be moved, it really affects everyone in your life. So Spirit, can you give us some guidance today on how this ADHD collective can guard their transformation using discernment? Using the cocoon as a healthy mask, as a healthy shield, not because we're afraid, but because we don't want to be derailed. We don't want to be distracted or think that what we're trying to do isn't correct. Guidance, please, Spirit, for this ADHD collective. Discernment. Guys, I cannot even with you guys. I just was talking about being defenseless. This card come out. This is the one I've been talking about throughout the series that has really been instrumental in me in my own life. I release my need to be right. I am defenseless and at peace. And again, defenseless doesn't mean you just let anybody walk all over you. You don't let anybody just say whatever it is that they want to say. Defenseless means there's no need for that. You've risen above that limiting belief, that experience, the heaviness of that weight of, oh, the judgment that could come. Oh, they're misunderstanding me. When you can step into this defenseless energy, it's no longer required. Hi, Crystal. I'm doing well. Good to see you again today. And then now we are going to move on to the Spirit Animal Oracle. Spirit, can you please give us guidance on how to transform with discernment? Tapping into our cocoon, tapping into the safety net, not as a way of hiding who we are, but as protecting the truest essence of our becoming, the truest power of our soul. What guidance today, please, Spirit? All right, I got 3. Dog Spirit, be loyal to what you love. Ooh, I like that. Number 19, be loyal to what you love. Number 49, Rabbit Spirit. Spirit. Now is a lucky time. Look at that. Oh, yes. And 53, Seahorse Spirit, watch and wait. So I think this came out recently. If I remember in the replay, I'll link it for you guys in the reading that it came out in. I think it may have been the Boundaries reading. I'm not sure. All right. How are you doing today, Crystal? Ooh. Excuse me. All right, now we're going to work with the Maiden. Maiden, can you please give us guidance today on how to transform, how to guard our transformation with discernment, how to surrender to the cocoon, to embrace its safety, to embrace this space of becoming, this liminal space of the in-between when we're trying to turn into something else, trying to change a situation in our lives. How can we tap into discernment to know what is for us, what is against us? Who should we share this information with? Or should we stay cocooned in this isolation energy throughout the entire becoming? Guidance, please, Maiden. Okay. Let's see. have the Emperor on the bottom of the deck. Wow, look at that. The first card we got is the Hanged One, Hanged Man. Excuse me. We got the Strength card. Followed by the King of Pentacles. And then the Two of Pentacles. I'm sorry I'm giggling because literally the Hanged Man, literally cocoon upside down, right? Surrendering to the present moment of now. Not fighting this need to go inward, not fighting this need to keep something to ourselves. And trust me, I understand that because especially with ADHD, we get so excited, so passionate about what we're dealing with, what we're going through, what we're trying to change and improve. And you want everyone in your life to go through it as well. You want everyone to be happy like you are. But we have to understand that's not our responsibility. That's not our role. That's not our job. We're not here to make choices for anyone else. We can share, but we have to share from a place of detachment where them choosing to approach it is not something that is going to affect us, right? Not something that is going to, and then the Seven of Pentacles just flipped over, so I will think of that. All right, Mother, how can we guard our transformation with discernment? In what ways can we please protect ourselves? Stepping into the power of discernment to allow our becoming to truly unfold in the best way, please. Guidance, please, Mother. Golly. We got the Emperor again. Okay, we had the Emperor on the bottom of the Maiden's deck. And it's the last card we just got here. The Hermit. What was I just saying about going inward? Going inward and sitting with this becoming that we are working on, doing all that inner quiet work that is required of ourselves to be able to really commit this change. Commit this change, that sounded like. To really implement this change. Maybe that's better. The Mother's first card is the Five of Cups. This came out in last night's reading. I will link it up there in the replay if you guys would like to watch it. Okay. And we have the Ten of Swords. With the Two of Swords. And I just told you that the Emperor came out again. Remember, this was on the bottom of the deck. Got the Emperor twice here. That is power. That is stability. The Emperor is all of the king energies, right? All of the kings in the deck. He has them all. He's not just running a kingdom. He's running an empire. Okay? Okay. But to get to that point, we have to be secure in ourselves. The Emperor is secure in himself, right? And now we're going to work with the Crone. Crone, can you please give us guidance today? How can this ADHD collective guard their transformation with discernment? How can they surrender with the Hanged Man, surrender with this cocoon, surrender to the process required of transformation, of becoming, and use discernment to know when they need to watch and wait, when they need to remain silent, when they need to keep their transformation to themselves, and when they need to speak, when they need to roar as the lion with the Strength card, when they need to stand in their power as the Emperor, guarding that with the discernment that comes through. Guidance, please, Crone. Okay. She's giving me an extra card. Everybody else gave me a 4. She gave me 5. On the bottom of the deck, we have this 5 of Wands. So that is the resistance we were talking about, right? That conflict, that competition, this I am defenseless. That underlying energy that we are afraid that we have to prove ourselves, prove our worth, prove that everything that we're doing is right. This underlying here. The first card we get is the Queen of Pentacles. followed by the Ace of Swords. Got the Two of Pentacles again, guys. This one always reminds me of shadow work, of integrating your light and dark aspects, of not being afraid of what's in your subconscious. And maybe in this instance, in this reading, it's talking about not being afraid of that darkness of the cocoon, right? It can feel claustrophobic, it can feel dark, it can feel enclosed, but it's just protection, right? I'm thinking of like, excuse me, the sensory blankets you can get, weighted blankets, the little snuggies that we can get to wrap ourselves in. And then Justice, guys, this came out recently as well. This came out last night as well. So maybe somebody really needs to watch last night's reading, okay? And then the last card is the Chariot in reverse. The Chariot in reverse. Okay. Well, right off the bat, I say that a lot. Maybe I need a new phrase. We talked about being defenseless and being at peace. And the word peace came out in that card, right? And I was talking about how I carry peace with me everywhere I go, something that came out before the live stream. But with this, be loyal to what you love, and now is a lucky time. That to me is really saying this is the time to really step into your becoming, to step into the safety of this discernment, to surrender to the cocoon, to go inward, to watch and wait and see what you will become, to watch how your becoming unfurls and touches every part of your life, how it continues to ripple out into your acquaintances, your friends, your family. I was talking about a couple of days ago how patience, you have to have strength to be patient, right? And the strength card, right? That is all about power, the inner strength that we carry. I'm thinking of the sun here now with warmth and positivity, surrendering to the cocoon, understanding that because you are in this space of the cocoon, it allows you to detach from this immediate response that we're used to in our lives, that immediate response, right? I talked about it in my book, getting into a space where when we're communicating with others, and maybe even this is going to translate into communicating with yourself, that we get out of that reactive energy where we're listening to respond, and we surrender with the Hanged Man, surrender to the energy of listening to understand, listening to be curious, listening to discern. If we're listening to answer, then we could be missing the reason the question was asked in the first place. And maybe the question was asked to trap you into some situation, getting you to say something that you didn't mean but could be turned against you. Maybe that question was asked to get you to feel bad, right? Trying to get you to defend why this is going to be different, how this is going to change things. But with the King of Pentacles, this is the energy where you've done the work. You have done the work in this world, right? This is the material world. This is your health, your wealth. And wealth is not just monetary, right? This could be you standing in your energy because you're no longer giving of others. You're using your discernment to stop pouring into other people, to surrender to the cocoon and go inward and pour that energy instead into yourself. And the more you do that, the more self-love you give to yourself, the more energy you flow into yourself, the more you blossom and grow and root into your worth, root into your truth, root into who you are and what you know to be true. And it gets easier and easier until you look like this juggler here. He's not struggling at all. He looks like he's kicking his steps up. Like his face looks like he's struggling, right? But his feet are like, "Ooh, let's go. Let's dance." You learn how to balance your transformation, your becoming, your change in the way you're approaching life. Being loyal to what you love, right? Understanding that things don't happen to you. This isn't a life where everything goes wrong. Now is a lucky time. Embracing a positive mindset. This 5 of Cups, having grief, understanding that discernment can prevent you from falling into the trap of judging yourself from the past, judging your past attempts to change, judging your past attempts to reclaim your life in whatever way that is, spiritually, in your physical body, emotionally, in your relationships, in your work, whatever it is. Don't fall into the trap of judging yourself and grieving that you weren't able to make this change. Excuse me. Because if you do, that weight is going to be unbearable with the Ten of Swords. It's going to be too much to carry. It will prevent you from fully expanding, from fully metamorphosizing into the beautiful, beautiful butterfly you were meant to be, into the person who is loyal to what they love. And because they've been patient, because they've practiced discernment with their emotions, practiced discernment with the advice that they've taken from people, practiced discernment with asking and telling and even showing this beautiful, beautiful dream that you have cocooned inside. There may be, and maybe it is just protecting yourself from projected beliefs. You could be so excited about something, and someone like one of your friends or family members, they're not as excited about it as you, right? Because they don't have that passion for it. But if you share this with them, if you share this dream, this new thing that you're going to do, especially early on when it's so raw and just real and ready, if you do that, then you're giving them the opportunity to affect your energy, because if they are not as excited as you could interpret that in many ways, right? With this Two of Swords card, you have a choice to make. You could interpret it as they don't support you. You could interpret it as, oh, they think I'm going to fail like I always do. Just because they didn't support you, you could have all these negative self-talk. The inner critic could really come and start speaking center stage and derail your progress. But understanding, if you do decide to speak about this with others, you have to detach from their energy and their opinions about this thing that you're trying to change in your life. Okay? And then the last card we got from the mother again was this Emperor. Right? The Emperor's doing his thing. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He is genuinely watching and waiting. He's not the workman. He's not the one going out and planting the seeds. He has delegated, right? He's done the work. He's grown his empire to the point where he is successful, sitting on his throne in his truth. And that is where you are going to get to be able to achieve this in your life. This Queen of Pentacles, right? We got the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. The Emperor twice. There are so many powerful cards on the table. These archetypes are showing up for us because we are ready. We are ready to emerge in a new life. This Ace of Swords. Spirit is here to give us in the depths of our becoming, In the quiet stillness of the hermit, where we're going inward and we're examining the limiting beliefs, we're examining our emotions and what they're trying to teach us and tell us, where we are examining and spirit is coming through with the clarity that wipes the brain fog, with the clarity that wipes the confusion, with the clarity that we can get into the stillness and become the observer. Because we're detached. We're detached from the outcome. We're detached from opinions of others. We are defenseless and at peace in the void of our becoming in the expanse. Because we have properly used discernment to protect ourselves, not to hide who we are. We're not ashamed of what we're becoming. We're not ashamed of what we're doing. It's fragile. It's a seedling, and we have to baby for it. And manifest in the material plane, which always okay, which normally takes longer than the spiritual plane. You see that? That was course correcting. That was rewiring my brain. Things can happen faster than anything. I don't have to limit that. You don't have to limit it. But again, with this idea of the Two of Pentacles coming through, excuse me, it's easier to manage our own emotions, to manage our own thoughts, to manage our own limiting beliefs when we haven't shared this with others who have their own agendas, have their own opinions, especially if you've been doing healing work for any period of time and the others around you, the people that surround you, are not necessarily on the same, excuse me, but discernment, right? Justice, discerning what is fair to you and fair to others, right? We want to do what's best for all, the highest good, but that doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. We need to bring justice to our soul, justice to this thing that we love, justice to this cocoon becoming, the safety net that we have here. When you surrender to discernment, when you surrender to no reaction and just receiving information, right? And then processing that information, listening to it, slowing down. With the chariot in reverse here, slowing down, understanding that this is not meant to happen overnight, right? That there's a medicine, there's a sacredness, there's a lesson in the times where we are slow, where we are growing and rooting in. Because when our truth emerges, whenever we finally have come to the point where it's time to reap the harvest of what we've invested, we will have the strength. We will have the inner strength to be able to handle this. We will be secure enough within ourselves, right? To not be swayed by the opinions of others when they may not like who we become. We will have the structure and the strength and the drive to be an example and lead others to their own becomings, to be the safe space for them so that they can get out of this competitive, comparing energy, out of this judgmental energy, and into a place of watching and waiting and learning, learning, right? Surrender to your cocoon. It's a sanctuary. It is a place for you to be safe, for you to slow down, for you to feel safely, for you to think safely, for you to change safely, and use discernment as well on this becoming path. Understanding what aspects of yourself do you really want to change? Or are you okay with who you are? Because that is fine. The only reason we should ever change is not to feel worthy, not to feel like we have to, not to feel like we want to belong. We should only change for ourselves to make our lives more enjoyable, to be a reflection, a pure reflection of our morals, our beliefs, what we want to achieve in this life. That's the only reason to change. You shouldn't change because somebody else wants you to. You shouldn't change because your boss needs you to. Your job requires it of you. This is a really strong statement, but I would highly suggest really thinking about if that position is in alignment for you. If it is requiring you to do something that is completely against who you are as a person and what you are, how you're wired, if you don't have support in a supportive environment, is that really the place for you? And I know there can be a lot of bitterness with that statement. A lot of, really, Kayla? Where am I going to get a job? Who's going to hire me in this economy? What am I supposed to do? That's a good question. But I guarantee you, if you get still, if you quiet, if you go within and ask yourself, ask your guides, ask God, pray about it, and then genuinely open up to receive the information that comes through, there will be divine clarity. This is now is a lucky time, right? With the rabbit spirit. I'm not telling you to just go out and recklessly quit your job, but I am asking you to use discernment, and investing your energy into this place is really draining you. I've talked about this multiple times, how when I've been in positions where I've put more of my energy into a career than I should have, it was a soul drain. It was deeper than just fatigue. It was deeper than burnout. It's a soul drain because my soul wasn't being refueled, recharged. When you do things in alignment with your goals, with your passions, with your morals, with who you truly are, and it's in alignment with what your soul came here to experience, what you came here to do, that action is just like that Seven of Pentacles that popped out earlier. It waters. It waters that passion even more. It's like fertilizer, dumping it in. Every time you do something, your soul's like, yes, we did it. We did it. We can do it again. Let's go. Let's go. It's excitement, right? And if you're doing a job where that's not the case, that excitement's not there. That fuel's not there. And you show up and you ask yourself in the morning, how am I going to get through this day? I've been there too, friends. And like Spirit said earlier, be loyal. Loyal to what you love. Don't sacrifice yourself. Don't sacrifice your values, your beliefs. It takes courage. It takes strength. But there is always an opportunity to express our soul's truths wherever we're at. We carry the peace within, right? So go inward again with the Hermit, get creative, be aware, be in the present moment, and ask yourself, how can I bring myself more fully into this experience where my soul is maybe not 100% satisfied, but my soul is not dissatisfied. My soul's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. You're trying to change. Okay. Okay. I got this. So how can you show up in your world like that? However this transformation is coming for you, whether that's with weight loss, changing your eating patterns, if it has to do with the way you're speaking to yourself, with the way you're speaking to others, showing up as a better mother, showing up as a better partner. This has to do with your work, getting the courage to step out into the path that's truly meant for you. A lot of you, I think it probably is. It has to do with, because I've talked about work heavily. So I think a lot of you, this is definitely the energy. And a lot of times structure is what we struggle with ADHD. But throughout the course of my life, I've come to view structure as a tool, as a tool to help me succeed, not as something that's required for my worth, not as something that is required or that I should have to do, but something that I genuinely appreciate as a tool, because it enables me to, one, not forget that we have. It enables me dreams and There is weight to what we write down. There is weight to what we speak. I talked about that last night. And structure doesn't have to be the same either, right? I have structure in this series, but I've deviated quite frequently. I have incorporated flexibility so that if I feel led by spirit to bring a certain message, I can, right? It may not have tied into my overall theme for the week, but that's okay because whatever message came through is what was intended. It's what was needed in the moment. And me getting out of the way is a message in and of itself, a message for me, right? To learn how to surrender more with this hanged man, to learn how to surrender and see things in a different perspective and understand that structure can be an idea, right? An agenda, but that you can move them around. They don't have to stay the same every single day. Your soul is so ready. It's so ready for this becoming, for this transformation. It's ready to be vindicated, right? With this justice card. Yeah, you've suffered enough. You have suffered enough. It's time to lay down the swords, to lay down all of the talk, all of the emotions that don't serve you. Wow. Sending love and light to anyone that is open to receive it. Thank you, Maiden, Mother, and Crone, for these messages. Thank you for showing up for the ADHD Collective, for guiding us with passion, with joy, with what we love, for nurturing us in this cocoon, in this mothering womb of safety as we explore and experience and dig deeply with discernment to see how we need to change as ourselves to reflect ourselves' truth, our soul's truth, and not the expectations of others. And if our soul doesn't want to change, how accepting that truth is a transformation in and of itself. And thank you, Crone, for encouraging us to be the observers in our lives, to step back, step away from judgment, from comparison and competition, and to just learn and listen. And thank you so much, my friends, for showing up today. Because when you show up, you're investing in your life. You're investing in the future you. You're investing in the cocoon. You're pouring your life. You're pouring into your life in a way that is transformational, that is a small change, like a small drip, 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 drip. But by the end, you're unrecognizable. You're radiant. Wow, it's great. This card has been so transformative to me in my own walk. So I encourage you, maybe you should do some journaling prompts with this tonight. When you're in your cocoon, when you're thinking about how to discern, really get into this idea of masking as perfection, right? As perfection. Let me know below in the comments. What is your transformation? What is your cocoon of becoming? And how are you going to honor your soul's truth so they can have justice in your life? I'd like to encourage you to remember in this channel, come as you are and stay as you become. I am offering live readings for anyone that is joining me. So if anyone's interested and would like a one-card pull, please comment in the chat below. Let me know your name, and I'd be happy to pull a message from Spirit for you today. There is a bit of a lag with the chat replay for me, so Carrie Ann, okay, awesome. Carrie Ann, would you like the maiden, the mother, or the crone? This is the maiden. Oh, I can't show you the mother. These cards are the mother. The back artwork is not approved for YouTube because art, right? And then this is the crone. Mother. Okay, yeah, it is beautiful deck. I love that deck. The colors are so gorgeous. The energy is inclusive. You really do feel that mothering energy. Mother, can you please give us guidance today for Carrie Ann? What does she need to know in this moment that can bring her the most clarity so she can act in a way that is for her highest good? What message? Okay, that one. Got the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck with an Ace of Cups. Okay. So your card was the Ace of Cups. So I like to say that all of the aces are gifts, right? Gifts from spirit. And the cups is our emotions, our emotional energy. But it's like love too, right? How we feel. So this is an opportunity with this Eight of Swords at the bottom. This is self-imprisonment, limitations that are all self-imposed. So Spirit is giving you a gift here to show up for yourself in a way that is loving and compassionate and understanding and not holding yourself to a standard that's unachievable. I'm seeing the nails being painted. That was called out to me. So maybe spending some time on self-care, really getting in touch with your body, paying attention to if you're storing any pain or stress in your shoulders, your neck, your back, anywhere you could potentially store it. Really showing up in your relationships in a new way. Don't limit yourself, understanding that people do want to support you. People do want to love you, even if that hasn't been your story, even if that hasn't been what you've experienced in your life. And then once you step into this beautiful Ace of Cups energy, look how the water's overflowing here. It's going to ripple out and it's going to make such an impact on those around you, your direct people around you. It's going to flow and flow and flow. Oh, all right, baby girl. Well, you need to watch my reading from last night then, okay? It was all about relationship breakups. I don't remember what it was called, but in the replay I'll link it. But it was the most recent live stream I did, so check it out. It will bring some clarity for you. Yeah, 3 months of a that's just rough. One of my favorite things about lotuses, right, is they're so gorgeous. They're so beautiful. But if you look here in the card, they come from the murk, the depths. So that speaks to our depths as humans, our depths feeling how what we come from, what we store in our bodies, what we store in our subconscious, understanding that what we go through doesn't have to be a limitation. It doesn't have to be something that changes the way we live our life. You got strength under the bottom of that as well. You can have the strength to understand love is available. Oh, wrong way. Love is available to you, right? Love is available to you. Emotional security is available to you. And that starts with providing it to yourself, showing up for yourself, pouring into yourself, right? Saying it doesn't matter if no one else chooses me, I'm going to choose myself. It doesn't matter if someone can't be there for me emotionally, I'm going to be there for myself. When I'm upset, I'm not going to judge myself and try to shut it down. I'm going to say, it's okay to be upset. I'll hold your hand while you cry. Say this to yourself, right? I do it to myself. I hug myself. I imagine myself hugging myself in my head too when my inner critic is going wild in there. This love starts with you and then it flows out. It flows out. That's what I have for you today, Carrie Ann. Oh man, thank you for opening up. I am trying to create a community here where we feel safe to talk about what we've gone through. where we feel safe to talk about what we're trying to transform. You got strength popping out again. You have the strength to do this. I know you can. All right. You're welcome, Crystal and Carrie Ann. You're so welcome. I would like to invite everyone. Please tune in tomorrow. I will make the formal announcement for the finale of this series. But there will be a live pick a card for the finale of this. I really wanted to give back to you. I really wanted you to be empowered and involved in the reading and have more authority over the message coming through, right? For yourself. So if you have the opportunity, plan on settling in. I'm going to try to do it earlier in the night so I'm not interrupted by my end of school schedule with my children. So it'll probably be around 6 or 6:30, but I will make the formal announcement tomorrow on the community. So if you're not subscribed, please do so you don't miss that reading. It's going to be awesome. It's going to definitely test my ability to stay present, right? Because I'm planning on doing 3 readings. And also I'm going to be opening up in a way that I haven't before. So if you've resonated with this channel, with the messages I'm bringing, if you know that you belong here and can feel the safety that we're creating, please subscribe and join us for the finale. All right. Much love to you, my friends. Enjoy your day.